This Kansas Lottery 300 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and it is yet another edition of NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark. Muscle in, get ready for all of the frivolity that comes with a NASCAR gambling show that happens late in the evening. Justin checking in already, saying evening nightcap. Pick Zilisch to win so we can all go to bed. All right, Cody, well. Connor Zilisch wins this race. Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everybody. Good to see you.
It's not really that easy, is it, though, Cody? I mean, we are in the second round of the playoffs now. We had a non-playoff driver win the first round of the playoffs, so we're already set up for some craziness to happen in this one, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, playoffs brings out crazy stuff, and you'd have thought last race, you just pick Zilisch and call it a day, but he didn't get the win, so, maybe that's the case again in Kansas. Maybe it's not. You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Isn't that insane, though? Okay, so bearing the lead, because we were talking about being after dark, and this is what happens when you get after dark. We are, of course, covering the Xfinity Series race in Kansas. They did have, was it last week off, so it was just trucks and Cup. Yep. Now the Xfinity Series comes back in full force after that week at Bristol, where we saw Eric Almirola cross the finish line in first place. And now we get to see if Connor Zilisch can punch his way into the next round by way of a win, even though he's pretty comfortable.
Even though he'll win at the Roval next week, no matter what, so it's fine. But
yeah, right. that ticket's already got a date on it. It's just a matter of when he's going to actually cash it in.
But hey, nothing's guaranteed, right? You can always have problems next week as well. So, there's all of these guys are going to be looking to punch their way into the next round. You still have all 12 drivers that are in the playoffs, looking for a chance, and a win at Kansas will punch that ticket, and you don't have to go to the Roval, which we talked about yesterday on the Cup episode. You don't want to go into the Roval needing, and that's a cutoff race for Xfinity as well. You don't want to go in there in a hole needing to score a lot of points because, man, it's tough to do so at the Roval at times. So, yeah.
How insane, though, that a non-playoff driver actually did, and not a non-playoff driver, Cody, but a non-series regular jumped in and won the race. I know, but
not, he's a retired Cup veteran. It's not, it's not like Brennan Queen came in and won or something like that. That would be something that's more like, oh shit, like look at how this happened, right? But Almirola, and let's face it, like he wasn't the best car on the night. He just, things worked out best for him, and props to him for that. He earned it, right? But I don't think it's overly shocking.
No, definitely not overly shocking. John checking in saying, can Sammy Smith get back in this? We have thoughts on Sammy Smith coming up.
Do.
Both of us had the same thought on Sammy Smith.
We actually accidentally doubled up on the same bet, so we'll talk about it.
Laura checking in. Hi, guys. Damn nice to see you. Hi, Laura. Hi, absolutely fantastic to see you as well. It's been a long time since we've seen you on here. Obviously, still see you on Twitter, but good to see you in the chat. Yeah, look, we'll talk Kansas here in a second, but I want to remind you all to check out the SGPN app in your app store. You get easy access to all of our picks and all of our props and all of our shows, which are popping off like mad lately. Obviously, football season in full swing. Still got NASCAR. Still got the remnants of baseball. Hockey's about to start up. This is the quintessential time for sports, and you have to be just active on the app if you want to check it all out and get it there. So find it in your app store. Kansas, Cody, the Kansas Speedway. It is the Kansas Lottery 300, set for 200 laps around this 1.500 mile paved track for 300 even miles in Kansas City, Kansas. I mean, look, this is one of those tracks where the Xfinity Series only comes here once a year, whereas the Cup Series comes here twice. So we don't get a lot of track history, I say, on this track, but I mean, there's some drivers that do thrive on this track, but not a lot of return drivers, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah, which is, I mean, sort of been the case at some points this season, because we do have a lot of new faces and new names in the series. But it's a bit sad they only come here once a year. This is a great track, and it puts on great racing across all three series. Of course, trucks are here in the spring, and then they swap it out, and Xfinity comes here in the fall. So. And I think that's flipped next year. I think it's actually trucks in the spring and Xfinity in the fall. So this will be a playoff race next year for the truck series, but not for the Xfinity series. So interesting switch in the schedule there. But it's a great track. Been there many times. I was there in the spring. Sadly, not making it down this weekend. But I know we have a ton of listeners that do go to Kansas Speedway. It always seems like. So shout out to all of you guys. It should be a good one. Should be exciting. We do have one piece of news, Rod, before we get too far into Kansas talk. Rodney Childers has a job for 2026. A day after Kyle Busch's crew chief was announced to be leaving the team, he's not going there. Sorry, Rowdy Nation. He is going to the Xfinity. No, he's not going to the Xfinity. He's going to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next year, Rod, a.k.a. currently known as the Xfinity Series. Of course, renamed to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next year. So Rodney Childers will be the crew chief for the number one car, which, also news, is going to be split between Carson Kvapil and Connor Zilisch, who will share the ride with the number of races for each TBD. So Carson Kvapil out of a full-time ride next year, at least at this point in time. Zilisch, if you remember right, he doesn't, the first 3 years you're in the Cup Series, you don't have the rule of limited races. So he can run as many Xfinity Series races as he wants to, and they've even included everything now up until the final race before the playoffs and the playoffs. So you could see him in that one car quite a bit, taking up plenty of wins there. Of course, he'll be a rookie in the Cup Series, but can still race that a ton. So those guys splitting time is interesting. JRM, currently the best team in the garage by a long shot, and they're adding Rodney Childers, one of the best minds in all of NASCAR. So that's a pretty good combination and a nice snag for Dale Jr. and company there. So, it's kind of big news for the series next year in a couple of ways. The Kvapil part of things, Zilisch, we already know now, is going to be for quite a few races, and also adding Rodney Childers into that mix.
When we talked about both of them in the preseason, and we were talking and trying to figure out which one of the two was going to break out, I know that it wasn't that I wasn't high on Zilisch. Obviously, we were both high on Zilisch because, for obvious reasons, of course. But I did expect more out of the Kvapil end of this, and I think I'm a little disappointed. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, right? Hashtag analysis that you're disappointed that Kvapil didn't really come up the way he did. So it's not all that surprising, I guess. So then I guess what that means is, do we know who's taking the 88 right now, or I haven't seen anything yet about the 88, if it's going to even be
so I think we know that Sammy Smith is back. I think that's already been announced. You've got this car as going to be part-time. Allgaier, I don't know that they've announced that, but I mean, we obviously assume he'll be back. That's kind of already a given. So I would imagine there will be a fourth full-time car, because it sounds like the one will likely be full-time between the two drivers. The 88, or is it a different number? I mean, they're not running 9 this year. Is that right? Yeah.
No,
so will they bring that number back? I don't know. Who knows, right? And who gets that ride still to be determined. Still depends on whose, purse strings are the biggest for that. And Junior's always been open about that. And I would imagine that's why Kvapil's not going to be full-time, because they are unable to afford it. They don't have the backing to do it anymore. And we've seen the same story with Joe Gibbs where they contract, expand based on who's bringing money to the programs. And, JRM's run 5 cars, a lot of races this season because they've had people coming in with the money. So, is it another full-time driver? Is it another ride that's split up between people throughout the year? I think it probably all just depends on, how funding lines up and who it lines up and where people land, right? Does Daniel Suarez, we still don't know. Is he going to be in the 7 car? If he's not in the 7 car, he's probably not in the Cup Series. So he's got tons of funding and tons of backing. Does he want to be that guy that steps down to the Xfinity Series and, as a former champion and runs for a title again? He certainly could be a good candidate. Maybe there's already something going on behind the scenes with that. Who knows? But yeah, a lot of questions unanswered still. But as we get towards the tail end of the season here, we could see more. And CYTY is saying Raja part-time.
That's what I was about to say, CY.
He's already running part-time in the Hendrick car. Why? I mean, if it's just going to be part-time, why change that now?
Well, I was going to say, why not full-time?
Yeah, does Hendrick help put him full-time in that car? Potentially. You've also got Corey Day.
Oh, yeah.
Where is his funding at? I mean, he's a guy that's up and coming. Do they fast-track him into a ride like that? There's other guys in the Truck Series that have performed well. Does Chevy decide they want to steal a Lane Riggs type of guy? And bring funding with him? Who knows? There's a lot of definitely possibilities and opportunities out there. So some pieces starting to fall into place, but we'll see.
That would be fun to watch in the offseason. TK checking in saying, hey, guys, 2:38 p.m. here. Hi.
Happy Thursday afternoon to you.
Happy afternoon, TK. Weird that Eric isn't running the 19 this week, considering the 19 is still in the Owners' Playoff. Maybe he's busy with the win. Yeah, but they've got Bonsignor in there.
And the 19's already locked to the next round because the Owners' Playoff works the same way as the regular playoffs do. So while there's no driver for the 19 that's locked into the next round, that car is already locked into the next round. So Justin Bonsignor is driving that car this week. And I would imagine that was probably already scheduled anyways, but that for playoff purposes, that car is advanced to the next round now.
Speaking of Bonsignor driving the 19, there's a couple other names that are out there on the entry list. Cody, this is a perfect segue to set up who's in this race.
It is. We've got 39 cars for 38 spots, so one driver will miss the race. Brendan Butterbean Queen, he's going to be back in the number 11 car for Colleague Racing. Of course, kind of an up-and-coming name as well there, and Chevy driver. So, and he comes from the Cars Tour, which Junior's already in on. Who knows, right? Another name that could be thrown out there, Raja Karuth, who we just mentioned. He'll be in that 17 car, as we mentioned. Justin Bonsignor, of course, the modified legend. He is going to be in the number 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Patrick Starr is back. Staropoli. What did we decide? Is he an eye doctor, a dentist? I don't remember.
He's the dentist.
Some type of he's the dentist, yes. So Patrick Starr, the dentist, he's gonna be back in the 24 for Sam Hunt. And our guy, Austin Green, is gonna be back in the 32 car. As well for Jordan Anderson. I think that pretty much I do like the 76 AM racing car. His name is Cole Raz. I think that's a pretty sweet fucking name. So
you're not down with the Glenn Reen?
Shout out.
The Glenn Reen in the 39 and the 35?
Glenn Reen, that's an interesting name as well.
Nick Lights in the 07?
Yeah.
Good stuff. That all works for us.
I think that covers it.
I think it does as well. All right. Well, then, race is properly set up. News has been teased. I think it is time to get to the bets for this the Kansas Lottery 300. I'm in Cup Series mode still. Race. My bad. Look at it's late. I forget. Hey. Got to put the old man to bed.
NGP After Dark.
NGP After Dark. All right, we'll get to all those bets. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at MyBookie.ag. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder, second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. I put that to the test, and I'm about to do that again. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. My buddies out there in New Zealand and Australia love them some Aussie rules football. The final. Geelong Cats, Brisbane Lions. Brisbane are 12.5-point underdogs in this one because I love me some Brisbane and because all of our folks in the Discord love them some Brisbane. I'm going to take them plus 12.5 at minus 127 over on MyBookie. Go jump on that before that line moves. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus of up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig is available in 35 and growing states. Download the Novig app. Get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. Do love Aussie rules. And the fact that Aussie rules is the men's are wrapping up. There's still the women's, the AFLW. They are still trucking along in the middle of their season, and they are highly entertaining. If you have yet to watch an AFL women's match, I implore you to do so because it's just entertaining.
That actually sounds more exciting than the AFL men's match, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, those ladies, they get after it, and then you watch it and you're like, damn. That's contact on contact, and it's fantastic. But Nico, there you go, Nico. There's my Brisbane Lions fans. Let's get it, Rod. Go the Lions, take for the win. They don't need the 12. Yeah, that's true. I would take them on the money line as well.
Money line. Get in on the money line. Third grand final in a row. Ooh, the grand final. Yeah. That's their version of Super Bowl. So. Yeah.
Yep. It's a third grand final. I love grand finals. It's such a great, Super Bowl is fine and all, but grand final just sends you. But
well, you know what I love, Rod?
What do you love, Cody?
Betting on the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Let's go.
We only have a few races left to bet on the NASCAR Xfinity Series before it's done and gone and no longer exists. So let's do it here at Kansas. We're going to start off, and a little bit of a spoiler as we fill out the doc and stuff here. I filled this bet in, and we logged into the show, and Rod's like, I already had that bet further on down in the dock, right? And he nicely agreed to give it up and allow me to take it, but it'll still be on the graphic at the end of the show, assuming Rod uploads the correct graphic.
It's not that late, Cody.
You haven't listened to yesterday's show. But we both like this one a lot. And I know John was in here earlier asking if Sammy Smith, can get back in this. Real quick, I forgot to do that. Let me set up the points going into this before we get into this bet, because Sammy Smith did have a rough week last time out rather at Bristol. So got the 12 drivers. Connor Zilisch is 85 points to the good, so a somewhat decent day for him, and he can lock in anyways. Justin Allgaier is 53 points to the good. Same for him. They could potentially lock in on points after this race. Sam Mayer's 35 to the good. He's feeling pretty good. After that, though, I think nobody's really feeling that great. Quapple's only 16 to the good. Harrison Burton is 9 to the good. Brandon Jones is 8 to the good. Sheldon Creed is 7. Taylor Gray is 3. Under the cut line, Nick Sanchez -3. Jesse Love -3. Austin Hill -16. That lack of playoff points coming into this, hurting him for sure. Sammy Smith -24. So nobody's in must win yet. But, there are a few guys who can definitely clinch their spot, even just on points. So that's great for them. But the bet that we both love, Rod, it is one Sheldon Creed over Sammy Smith. This is -115 over on ESPN. Honestly, really love this. It's not been great for either of these guys kind of down the stretch here lately. Sammy Smith was 37th last week at Bristol, 33rd at Worldwide Technologies. And at Portland, he was 22nd. So not good runs there. Prior to that, he had a couple of great finishes, good runs. That's all good and fine. But if you go back and you look at the mile and a half that they've raced on this season, it's not been very good for Sammy Smith, and that's kind of been what has stuck out to me. You go back to Charlotte, the most recent true mile and a half that these guys raced on, 38th place finished, DFL, dead fucking last, Rod. Texas, 18th place finish, not a good run there. Las Vegas, the sister track to this, we don't have a Kansas spring race to look back on, so you go back to the Las Vegas race, 14th, that's an okay run, but not super great. Miami, if you want to toss that in there as a mile and a half, 21st, also not great. So just not good runs. If you do look at Pocono, you look at Indianapolis, 8th and 7th, I will give them a little bit of credit there. Bigger, faster tracks, don't exactly race the same as this one does, but not the greatest of runs for him. Sheldon Creed, who we like over him, on the other hand, coming off a second place, shocker, a second place finish at Bristol. He's never finished there before. But he had a kind of a tough run before that. 30th at Gateway, 27th at Portland, 17th at Daytona, 35th at Watkins Glen. It's been a couple of rough weeks. But if you go back and you look at what has he done on the mile and a half, this is what I really like. 10th place at Charlotte, good day. Did have a bad day at Texas where he finished 36th, but Las Vegas also a 10th place finish. He got wrecked out of Pocono as well, so that's going to take a little bit of a dip on him. And then 17th at Indy, you'd like to see better. But the races that he did finish on the mile and a half had good solid runs, top 10 runs. I think that's all we need from him this week. I think that Sammy Smith is at a point in the points where he's not feeling comfortable. I think that a young guy like this might push that and make the mistakes. And Sheldon, probably not going to win the race because he never does, but he might be in contention because he usually is. So give both of us, Rod, Sheldon Creed over Sammy Smith, -115 over on the ESPN.
Yep, 1,000%. I have more to say about Sheldon Creed because I did have so this is what threw Cody, though. Normally, I do only have one bet per box, and so I can't fault him for it because I don't.
Rod, you're loving this. You got like 3 boxes that have multiple bets, multiple outright winners for you. You got into the dock well before I did. I had a crazy day. Then I was at the Husker volleyball game this evening, and yeah, I was like, holy shit, Rod's all over this race. He loves it.
You see what happens when I'm actually given time to like digest everything? Like I actually come up with stuff, but no, I do absolutely love the Creed over Sammy because look, for Sammy Smith, like you said, it's been rough, and when you see it and you see all of his finishes, you go, that's really not impressive. And Sheldon Creed is just a perennial second place finisher. But like I said, I'll talk about him more in a second. You talked about that cut line, Cody, and you talked about Austin Hill not doing himself any favors whatsoever by losing all of those playoff points. And listen, we joke and we laugh about Captain Shook, right, for the Indy race and what happened to Kyle Larson. Well, the Indy race was not kind to Austin Hill either because that is where he picked up his suspension and ended up finishing in 34th in that race. Now, he came back after the suspension for a good solid 4th place finish at Watkins Glen, and he did have a 5th place finish at Portland. But what do those tracks have in common? They're both road courses, and they're both not necessarily indicative of what we think he's going to do. 25th in at Daytona, 12th at Gateway, and a 19th at Bristol. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not what you think the 21 should be doing. He got shook after that suspension, and I don't think that team is completely rebounded from the repercussions of missing that one particular race. And, like I said, coming back for 2 good road course races, whatevs, man. I don't care. I mean, now talk to me tomorrow or talk to me next week at the Roval. Maybe I'll have a different opinion on Hill. But as of lately, these ovals are not his friend. And look, this track has been good to Austin Hill, and that's the problem. Like, you look at this track, and he's got 3 top 10 finishes and 4 career starts, right? A 5th place in the 61 car in 2020, a 12th place in 2022, and then a 5th place and a 7th place, both in the 21. But that's not the Austin Hill that we're seeing these last few weeks. That's not the Austin Hill we saw last week, right? That was a lot of disappointment for Austin Hill at Bristol. We thought he'd do better. He just did not show up, and he didn't look good. There was no point in that race that you thought Austin Hill was going to be a contender for a top 5, let alone a top 10, right? So it just doesn't feel like this is an Austin Hill type of a situation. Whereas you look at Sam Mayer, and while this has not been his favorite track, he's got 2 top 10 finishes. In the 8 car, he had an 8th place finish in 2021, 9th place finish in the 1 car, but the last 2 seasons in that 1 car, he crashed out in 2023 and finished 37th, and then last year he started 5th, ended up finishing in 13th, leading 18 laps in that one, but he's in that 41 car, and as of late, he has actually been a very, very solid driver. 2nd at Indy, 1 at Iowa, 2nd at the Glen, 5th at Daytona, 16th at Portland. Okay, I'll give him some leeway on that. He crashed out of Gateway, but he did start 4th in that one. Look, he started inside of the top 5 in all but one, actually in every one of his races since Indy. So he's been a top 5 car to start the race since Indianapolis. And then last week at Bristol, started on the outside pole, ended up finishing in 3rd place, but he led 68 laps in that race. Sam Mayer is cooking in that Haas factory equipment right now, and I don't see him slowing down. And I honestly believe that a good, solid top 5 finish, top 3 finish is in his cards. However, I'm I'm not all the way there yet on betting that position. So I'll give him a good solid top 10 finish. I don't think the same is in the cards for Austin Hill. So I'm very comfortable taking Sam Mayer over Austin Hill right now, especially at minus 115.
Yeah, I love this. If I didn't notice that you had this one in the doc, I would have taken this one as well, Rod. So very unlike us to be equally minded and agreeing on the same things in the Xfinity series, but here we are. I love this one as well. It's so easy to be out on Hill right now. I think he's off his game. Like you said, speaking of shook, he is pretty shook, I think, at the moment, and I think that's going to continue. He's obviously gets frustrated quickly, Mayer's looked really good. Don't forget, Mayer's in the 98 car from last year that Riley Herbst was driving that dominated the races at Las Vegas and looked good on the mile and a halves as well. And Custer looked good on those also in the 0-0. So back to the Creed point as well with that. Those cars were good last year on the mile and a halves and have been decent this year as well. So, I do like that one as well. Boji Joe checking in. He's giving Laura baseball parlays 11-1. Wants to know if I'm really gonna bet OSU money line. Rod, I do have the college football parlay, the underdog parlay of the week. So I go through, find some underdogs I like. I was going to say Oregon State, not Oregon State, different state team that's orange. Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy. Big get-up spot for them this weekend against Baylor. They're my big dog in that. Go check out that parlay. Yes, Boji Joe, I am going to bet them money line as well as in that. Laura wants to know if the Huskers won. Yes, because, Rod, we're a volleyball school. We are number one team in the country. They're undefeated this season. Kicked Michigan's ass, swept them 17 games in a row. They've won over Michigan in volleyball. I no longer care about the football team, and I will spend all of my time focused on volleyball because we're fucking good at it, and football's annoying.
Oh, man. You know what's funny? That as much as I love football, and I've always been a football fan since the time I can remember, there are years where I completely wrote off football. Just when the Niners were going through the Alex Smith seasons, I was like, I am writing off football for good. I just don't want it anymore. But what we're not writing off is NASCAR, because we are coming to the end of this Xfinity Series season. And, look, we've had some great weeks, so let's keep those rolling.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Rod. Next up for me. Stop me if you've heard me bet on these two guys again before, but we're going to do it again. Back on the Taylor Gray train, top 5 at 2-1. You know, if you look through this field, Connor Zilisch and Justin Allgaier are 1A, 1B. They should be the fastest cars in this race. They should be the best cars in this race. But outside of that, I think it's kind of up for grabs. And I think you've got Taylor Gray in a very fast Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, and he's been performing well this season. Now, I will say he's cooled off a bit lately, but we've been through kind of the ringer of tracks. Like the tracks we've been to lately are Bristol, tough short track, Worldwide Technology, you know, that's kind of more of a normal one, but Portland, Daytona, Watkins Glen, road courses, super speedways, a lot of crazy stuff. So mixed results, not been a lot of good stuff throughout that, but Indianapolis just before that, 3rd place. Big open speed track where he can just hammer down, go fast. He did so, got a 3rd place finish. That's good enough to cash a top 5, right? 7th at Dover, 7th at Sonoma, 5th at Atlanta, 7th at Coda, 2nd at Mexico City, 9th at Pocono. He's had some really good runs. Started on the pole at Charlotte, so had the speed going into that one. Led 23 laps. Got caught up in a wreck. Unfortunately, didn't finish well. But that was coming off a 2nd place run at Texas to Kyle Larson, by the way, the only driver in the field who beat him in that 88 car, so had a great run there. Struggled at Las Vegas early in the season. Going to overlook that a little bit as he's a rookie, kind of getting his feet wet. He's been performing well down the stretch run of the season. He's been a guy who's cashed the top 5 for us a bunch of times. 2-1, I think is good value on a fast car. And staying in the Joe Gibbs camp, our guy, my guy, president of the Williams Sawalich fan over here, going to take his top 5 at 4-1. Now, we don't have top 10s at the time of recording. ESPN will probably drop those tomorrow because they know better than to wait for us till after we're done with the show. I was hoping with the late show that maybe we'd get them, but unfortunately not out. If you can get a Williams Sawalich top 10 around even money, minus 120, something like that, I would take it. I love him yet again this weekend. He has been, since he figured it out and the everything snapped and switched, he's been on a roll. 3rd at Sonoma, 9th at Dover, 11th at Iowa, 6th at Indy, 26th at Watkins Glen was a rough day, but 12th at Daytona, 2nd at Portland, 2nd at Gateway, 15th at Bristol wasn't the greatest of days, but it's Bristol again, going to give him a pass. He's figured stuff out, and he's gotten much better. Las Vegas in the spring, don't care. That was the old William Sawalich. Texas was still the old William Sawalich, but he finished 13th. So for current William Sawalich form at the time, that's a hell of a run. And 15th at Charlotte, same thing. So, but since then, he's fixed things. He's figured it out. 6th place at Indianapolis. Boom. That's what I'm looking for. Bigger, faster track down this stretch of him figuring stuff out. And again, in what is generally a weaker field, you don't have Eric Almirola in this. There's no Cup guys because we're into the playoffs. So outside of Zilisch and Allgaier, again, 1-2, it's wide open behind that. And you got 2 Joe Gibbs Racing cars here. I'm kind of, we're going to talk more, and we've already talked about the 2 SHR cars or Haas Factory team these days. But those 4 cars kind of are your next best 4. And I think it's kind of a step down after that to, I suppose you put the RCR cars in there, but they don't overly scare me. There's some other guys you could pop up that we'll talk about here in a minute, but really these are kind of your next 4 cars, and you're getting 2 of them here at great prices, 2-1, 4-1. So I love that for Taylor Gray and William Sawalich.
So the fact that you say Taylor, not Tanner, that I can back you up. I don't have to talk you down off the ledge for Tanner, or for Taylor Gray, rather. So I'll back your play on that one. And then as far as Sawalich is concerned, yeah, I mean, it feels like every week there's a possibility that he can do it. And Joe Gibbs, I will lump in another Joe Gibbs car.
R.I.P. to Tanner, by the way. Goes out and starts in 5th place last week at Bristol, and I'm thinking, oh, Rod, you did it again. Here we go. And he gets wrecked on the first goddamn lap. And it was just like, you never even got a chance to see what he could have done with it. Sad fucking. And he wrecked with my other long shot first top 5. It was just.
I'll argue that he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. So, yeah, that's basically where my handicapping went on that one. But, yeah, so you talk about Joe Gibbs. Let's talk about Joe Gibbs. Let's talk about that other driver in that Joe Gibbs stable, Brandon Jones. I'm going to take him as a top 5 car at plus 140 over on ESPN. So his JRM days were okay. They were pretty good, right? 6th place finish last year in the 9 car, 2nd place finish the year before in the 9 car. But he's had some stellar runs in that 19 car, a 4th place finish in 2022. But how about 2 wins, back-to-back wins in the 19 Joe Gibbs Flow car and Menards/Swiffer on the hood of that car. He won in 2019 and 2020 on that one. But more impressively, though, he's got 7 top 10 finishes and 10 starts, 4 top 5s, 2 wins, average finish of 8.9. If that doesn't scream a top 5 car at the end of the day, I'm not really sure what does. But Brandon Jones lately, 11th place at Bristol, okay, but that's a short track, and I'll kind of forgive him for that one. But 4th place at Gateway, 6th place at Daytona, 3rd at Dover, really where his success has come in these mile and a half and flat tracks, came at the beginning of the year. He's been okay over the back half of it, but most of the success, 1st at Darlington, obviously 7th at Homestead, 6th at Vegas, 3rd at Phoenix, 5th at Bristol in the spring, 9th at Texas. So some pretty solid runs for the 20 car in this season. And like Cody said, right, I mean, Zilisch, Allgaier, go ahead and toss those guys into the top 3 and just kind of pick your poison after that. And these JGR cars are all fast enough to be competitors for not just a top 5 or even a top 3, but for a win. And so if you're going to talk about Taylor and Sawalich, who are the 2 younger drivers, then we need to talk about Brandon Jones, who's had success at this track, who's won on this track in a Joe Gibbs car. I think he's got the potential to not only have a top 5 run, Cody, at plus 140, but I'll toss in his top 3. And I guess if we're going to do this, we might as well car lift him all the way to the top at 14-1 to win this race. So I threw a car lift early in this, but I didn't even mean to. Like, in doing my research, I was like, all right, top 5. I like Brandon Jones top 5. And then I kept digging, and I was like, well, why can't he be a top 3? And then I was like, but then why can't he win again? Like, I get that it's hard to beat Zilisch. I do. I get that it's hard to beat Allgaier, but we're not even going to talk about Allgaier in this. Allgaier has not won on this track. And that's the frustrating part. As good as Allgaier's been in his career, he doesn't have any wins at Kansas. And that, to me, goes a long way in picking Jones to win this race at 14-1 rather than Allgaier, who's much shorter than him. And Zilisch, like, I'll talk about him in a second because you have to, but like, I almost feel as if you just take Jones at 14-1 and then kind of, head yourself over with a top 5 and a top 3 because he's got the potential to win in a Joe Gibbs car, and he has before. So, like I said, I didn't mean to fall in love with Brandon Jones this week, but if I were giving a rose out to an eligible driver, it would be Brandon Jones. So give me his top 5 at plus 140, top 3 at plus 250 to win at 1400 and a date to drink a beer together.
Rod's been watching a little bit of the Golden Bachelor here lately, but no, I absolutely love this. I was very sad that you got to the dock before me and took all the Brandon Jones bets possible because I would have included him with my other JGR cars. I you know how much I love JGR and I've loved betting on them in Xfinity in previous seasons. I'm really starting to feel them again this weekend. I think this is going to be a good race. Brandon Jones is specifically good at a few tracks, and those tracks he shows up just about every time. Phoenix is one of them, yes, but Las Vegas, Michigan, Kansas, which are all three exactly the same. He loves these 3 tracks. You said it before. He's won twice here. Even in the rough JRM years, he still ran decent here, but now he's come back home to JGR where he belongs, and he's going to show up with a hot rod. And we saw him earlier this year win. Was it Darlington or Homestead? I don't remember where it was, but he won earlier this year when Chris Bell was in the field, Kyle Larson was in the field, Zilisch was in the field, Allgaier was in the field. He beat all those guys just straight up. So, I love Brandon Jones. Yes, Nico is the rare rod car lift. That's how much Jones, should be good this week. And like TK points out, Jones seems solid in these fast races where he can use the top tier equipment to rise to the top. Completely agree. I will toss in on top of your car lift, Rod. If you don't already have some Brandon Jones to win the championship money, he's good in the playoffs. He's really good at Martinsville. We saw him almost make the Final Four, except for Ty Gibbs just fucking wrecking him for whatever stupid reason a few years ago. He's been very good at Phoenix as well. Yeah, I know it's Connor Zilisch to run away with, but one race at the end of the deal, you never know what could happen. Get that Brandon Jones championship ticket in before he has a really good run at Kansas this weekend.
I agree. Laura, no, Allgaier does not have a win here. In fact, he's only got 4 top 5 finishes in 14 career starts on this track. So not all wine and roses for Justin Allgaier at Kansas. All right. We got more bets to get to, but I would like to officially tell you about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. It's a great place to play Fantasy Pick'em, where you can win up to 500x on your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. It's available in a ton of sports, including college football tomorrow night, kids. Army's taking on ECU, those Pirates out there. I love Noah Short. Noah Short, one of the most explosive players on the Army triple option offense. And he's just, anytime he touches the ball, that dude explodes. So they're projecting his rushing total at 38.5 rather. I wish it was 35.5. How about 38.5 rushing yards? Smash the higher. You could even take the over or the higher than 24.5 receiving yards as well. Noah Short, pivotal in this Army offense. He had 81 yards receiving against Arlington State, 15 against Kansas State, and 10 against UNT, but 43 yards rushing against Arlington, 61 against K-State, 25 against UNT. That dude is primed to have big games each and every time he gets on the field. So it's going to be Noah Short tomorrow night, Army versus ECU, higher than 38.5 rushing yards. I'll even take the higher than 24.5 receiving yards as well. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5. Get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE, SGPN. How about our friends over at Rhythm? Rhythm is off to a great start in college football and the NFL. Rhythm has introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. Looking over here at the NFL slate, we've got the Ravens and the Chiefs. They're predicting a 48.5 point total. I'll tell you, my bookie has this at exactly 48.5. I don't know what you take on that one. Whatever you feel. Do you feel Baltimore's going to go crazy? Do you feel this game's going to go nuts? Take the over. They're predicting 48.5 is the mybookie.ag. Rhythm is also predicting 48.5. So flip a coin, pick your side, have yourself a little bit of fun. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download the Rhythm app and use promo code SGPN. It's probably one of the more frustrating opportunities. You get the prediction and you're like, all right, great, I got an edge. And then you look at the line and it's exactly that. And you're like, whoop, never mind. Where are we going?
It happens.
It does. All right. We don't have to worry about that, Cody, because we always are on the right side of lines, aren't we?
That's the goal, Ron. That's the hope and prayer. Be on the right side of the line. A line that I like this week. Long shot top 5 for you. And again, if you get top 10s, this would be a great guy to look at top 10. I think you get a pretty decent number on him. Brandon Butterbean Queen. I'm going to take his top 5 at 12-1, Rod. We don't have a ton of stuff to look at for him. Throughout his career, it's been a very young, short career, making his first kind of starts last season. One Xfinity Series start, it was at Bristol a couple of weeks ago. Started 28th, finished 20th. It's respectable, right? Doesn't scream to you top 5, obviously, but again, it's small sample size here. And one truck start this year, that was at IRP, short flat track. He did finish in 16th. Last year, 3 truck starts, 4th at North Wilkesboro, so he's got the ability to finish well. 19th at Nashville, 20th here at Kansas. So not the best runs ever, but I am going to take a little bit of a leap of faith on him anyways. I think he's a good, talented young driver. He's kind of an up-and-comer right now. And something that jumped off the charts to me, Josh Williams, the last time we were at 1.5 miles at Charlotte, Josh Williams finished 6th place in that car a few weeks before he got fired for poor performance. So even despite as bad of a season as he's had, and bad couple seasons at college, to be honest, he was still able to wheel that thing to a 6th place finish. They fired him, they canned him, they bring in all these Cup guys, get positive feedback, and that car's been running pretty well. Now you're going to put a talented young guy in Queen in there. I believe he's going to be in the ARCA race, getting those laps ahead of time as well. Could he go out and wheel this thing to a top 5 at 12-1? I think is definitely worth a shot. And again, if you get top 10 odds, we talked about how kind of weak it is at the top of the field. That really opens up the top 10 for some guys like a Brandon Butterbean Queen. I think he will be a borderline top 10 driver with the ability to get to top 5 at 12-1. I think it's worth the gamble. Maybe some stuff falls right. Maybe we have some guys fall out of the race or get caught up in wrecks. It's the playoffs. Playoff guys get in trouble. We saw it happen at Bristol. It's going to happen at Kansas. It always does. So give me Brandon Butterbean Queen, top 5 at 12-1 in that 11 car.
We're talking a lot about him now, and the kid's barely old enough to I don't do anything, to be honest with you. I can only imagine when he does get an actual full-time ride when he's old enough, how much we're going to be bringing him up and what kind of opportunities he's going to have.
How young is he? I feel like he's not super young.
Wait, is that? I'm thinking of somebody else.
I think you're thinking of somebody else. He's 27. He's been around for a bit, but like Cars Tour champion last year, and so like he's become big in the Cars Tour late model scene, and so that's kind of expanding into some opportunities here now, and he's been very impressive in the ARCA Menards series in the starts that he's made over there. And so I think that he's definitely a guy to look forward to.
They're all still kids to me.
Still young, but a little older than you were thinking. But Boji Joe says Josh Williams also parked his car on the finish line once during a race that was not at Kansas. I believe that was at Talladega. But Boji Joe, comparing him to Josh Berry, I think that's a fair comparison. Berry's actually quite a bit older than that. I think Berry's like 33 or 34 already, which is very long in the tooth for a young driver, if you will, young in his career. But kind of a similar path, and been grinding it out in the Cars Tour and the late model scene, and now is kind of getting those opportunities at a higher level.
Indeed. All right. Well, we talked earlier about a young man named Sheldon Creed, who is my favorite, which, by the way, I actually saw. I don't remember if it was on Twitter, if it was on Instagram or wherever I saw it, but there were NASCAR drivers that were talking about who would be good in a sitcom. Maybe it was even the website, but to a man, every one of them picked Sheldon Creed because apparently he's so Californian and so laid back and so funny that he is a shoo-in for a sitcom celebrity. So Sheldon Creed, my favorite Canadian that's not Canadian, that's from California, that is a great sitcom actor for a top 3 at 4-1. 4-1 for Sheldon Creed to finish in second place. I mean, we begged for a second place bet on Sheldon Creed forever, right? An exact finish of second, because that is where the man loves to finish. But this is the next best thing, right? So he could actually finish in third accidentally if he doesn't finish in second and still cash this 4-1 bet for a guy. Okay, spoiler alert. I'm constantly trying to learn, right? I always try to educate myself, especially on the long drives that I have to work. So I've been listening to an audiobook to sort of sharpen my handicapping skills, right? And so they have this chapter in there that's like looking for the edge, trying to find out where the books are mispricing things and how they're slipping on stuff. And so part of that is recency bias and how books perceive certain players or certain drivers or anything, right? So this is an instance where they're not perceiving it correctly, because Sheldon Creed just finished second at Bristol, and you're given 4-1 odds for him to place inside of the top 3, in which he's done several times over in his career, right? Second at Martinsville earlier this season, third at Daytona. Granted, he hasn't done it that much this season, right? Fourth at Nashville, though. Third at Chicago. Seventh at Iowa. Not a top 3, but very damn close. But we also know that Sheldon Creed tends to finish second all over the place. Now, he doesn't have a second place or a third place finish, or a second place finish here, but he does have a third place finish. He finished third in 2023 in the Childress car, the number 2 car. He did finish 5th here in the 18 Gibbs car last year. So he's got 2 top 5 finishes over the course of his career, 3 career starts at Kansas. But, I mean, we know Sheldon Creed's a second-place finisher. Dude's got the most second-place finishes in probably all of motorsports history, right? Like, that is just the bane of Sheldon Creed's existence. So if you're giving me 4-1 on a bet that almost damn near cashes every single week, I'm going to grab that, because he hasn't been bad here at Kansas in not Haas factory equipment that he's been running in this season, and been running it well. To be honest with you, we all know that he's taken that Haas equipment to top 10 finishes quite a bit this year, and top 10 for Sheldon Creed without, I guess, incident, usually ends up in a second place finish. So like you had said earlier, right? I mean, this is just a misprice, in my opinion, on a top 3 for Sheldon Creed. I'd take this down to even like plus 250, but if you're giving me 4-1, I'll take it.
Yeah, there you go. Creed is 27 also, Rod. In this field, I wouldn't call him young, TK says. And I joked that he's finished second more times than he celebrated his birthday. And he will be at 28 in 5 days for TK, 6 days for us still, Rod. But next Tuesday is his birthday. So early happy birthday to Sheldon Creed. Maybe he'll get a win for his 28th birthday. Probably not, but we'll see. Boji Joe can't get on the Sheldon Creed bandwagon with you, Rod.
That's fine.
But Boji Joe, could I interest you in the Dean Thompson bandwagon? And Rod, couple of things I want to point out here. This is a great reminder to join the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Jump in there, jump over into the NASCAR channel. Tons of great conversations, arguments, bets, analysis, stats, everything you could possibly want over there. And sometimes we notice that there's big misprices out there. Somebody will share it. In this case, it was me. I shared this in the Discord earlier. I was like, Dean Thompson is 65-1 for a top 5 over on ESPN Bet, rather. And I thought it was a big misprice, and I didn't think it was going to last until the show. So I told people to go bet it now. Well, they did, Rod. They bet it. So it's no longer 65-1. So hopefully, if you're already in the Discord, you got in on that. Still, you can get a 50-1 on both ESPN and Caesars now. So it's dropped down a little bit, but still going to take it to that number, because I think this is a massive, massive, massive misprice. I do not understand this number in any way, shape, or form. Dean Thompson is having a hell of a season, Rod. Just going back and looking through his results. I'm not going to read the tracks, just results week to week for him. 12th, 16th, 32nd, 7th, 13th, 10th, 31st, 16th, 18th, 14th, 11th, 18th, 10th, 12th, 17th. Basically, if he's finishing the race, he's in the top 20, a lot of times in the top 15. Oh, and last time we were at a mile and a half in Charlotte, where did he finish, Rod?
I'm holding up a number 5 for those.
You're holding up a number 5. 5th place. He did it the last time we were at a track this size with William Byron in the field, winning that race, by the way, not in the field this week. He finished 5th here, and he's still 50-1 to finish in the top 5. That's insane. Dean Thompson has been having a great season in this car. Rookie season, he comes over into this equipment, and it's like, oh, it's questionable. What's he going to be able to do with it? I don't know, but he has been having just a stellar season, mining his P's and Q's. And in the truck series, he was consistently not great all the time, but consistently good on 1.5 miles. Kansas last year, he finished 13th and 8th in the 2 truck races, because the truck series did come here twice last year. But 13th and 8th, great runs in the truck series he had here. You go to tracks like, Texas, he finished 16th, but Charlotte, a 9th place finish there. Charlotte in 2023, he had a 5th place finish in the truck series there as well. This makes no sense. And Dean Thompson could just come out and run 13th and 18th all day and not sniff the top 5. That is potentially and likely what will happen. But he's got the ability, like the last time we were on 1.5 miles, to finish in 5th place. He can put these races together. He likes these big, high-speed, fast tracks. He goes out and puts the pedal to the floor and runs it, and it's paid off pretty well for him so far this season. So, honestly, 65-1 was insane, but I think that 50-1 is still a lot of good value for Dean Thompson. For a guy that did it the last time we were out at 1.5 miles, and he's been running so consistent this year too. That's the thing. Like, I read off all his finishes: 12th, 13th, 10th, 14th, 11th, 10th, 12th, like 11th, 13th. A lot of really good 6th, 5th, a lot of good runs. He's keeping himself in the mix until the end. You get that late caution, you get that late restart. Why can't Dean Thompson go get a top 5 when he did it the last time we were at 1.5 miles? Insane to me. The number was 65-1. Again, hopefully in the Discord you got it over there, but still at 50-1 on ESPN and Caesars. I would still take it. I think the number is way mispriced. And assuming we get top 10s from ESPN at some point, that should be the first one you look for is Dean Thompson, and get it early, get it quick, because I think that enough people are going to hit it. It's not going to stay at whatever it opens at, but go get his top 10 if you get that opportunity, because way mispriced on the top 5. If he's honestly plus money at all, probably on the top 10, you just take it because he's going to be in that range. He's already proved that on a week-to-week basis, and he can get it done. I love Dean Thompson for the top 5 this week.
If it is your job if you work for a book and it is your job to listen to this show, I would like to hear from you. So please hit our DMs, because I want you got to think at this point that there is somebody designated at each and every sport book out there, right, to listen to our shows.
We have people in the Discord, like that Layer Den guy. I haven't seen him in a little while, but he was the guy who wrote the odds for DraftKings for F1 specifically. But we know they hang out in the Discords. We know, ours. I see Go Fast Troy here. I think he's an old OG Garage guys guy. I know they hang out in their Discord. Like they do, and I guarantee they listen to these shows because they're trying to find out the same info we are. So, Troy hit two home run parlays tonight, totaling $2,400. He's got spending money for Kansas. Imagine turning some of that money in on Dean Thompson at 50-1 for a top 5. Buddy, you're going to be swimming in it.
Beautiful stuff. Drinks on Troy. Let's go. All right. I am going to shift away from individual drivers and go for a collective group for my next couple of bets. This one, winning car numbers are going to be the next 2, but this one I'll take for the stages. Stage 1 and 2. It's not stage 1 and stage 2, just so you know. It's stage 1 is plus 110, the winning of the car, and then stage 2 is also plus 110. I just lumped them together in this one, but I would put money on both of these too. Stage 1 winning car number, I'll take it odd at plus 110, and then also stage 2 winning car number odd at plus 110. Here's the thing, and while I said that Justin Allgaier does not have any wins on this particular track, I will say that he has led 57 laps around this particular track, which is, not by any means the most John Hunter leads all that at 218. Hemrick, Custer, Chandler, Ty, none of those guys are around anymore. So of active drivers, Justin Allgaier has led the most laps on this track. So that already tells me that he can lead laps. He just can't convert them into finishes. Now, he also leads the series with 11 stage wins this season. You think it's Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch has 9. Justin Allgaier has 11. So that tells me that the money is for Justin Allgaier to maybe go out and win a stage, right? Because here's the thing, too. Stage points are going to be important for everybody, right? I know Justin Allgaier is sitting pretty. I know Connor Zilisch is sitting pretty, but you don't think that these guys want to just keep banking the points, right? And you get a playoff point if you win a stage. All the stuff that comes with winning stages. I know that flipping stages is all the rage lately to try to get yourself the win. But if you're a fast car, just go win the stage. Just don't worry about trying to get cute. Just go and win the stage. Allgaier's got a fast enough car to do that. And he's got a fast enough car to win a couple of stages, right? While everybody else is ducking out. Granted, the wins don't come, and so we won't pick him as a winner outright. But I'm okay. I'm comfortable with saying that the win can come from a Justin Allgaier. But if that's not the case, maybe Carson Kvapil stays out while everybody else comes in, wins a stage. I'm just saying wins a stage, Cody. It's pump the brakes. Maybe Brendan Queen decides to stay out when everybody else comes in, wins a stage. Maybe Roger Carruth does that. Maybe you get Justin Bonsignor, anybody. Maybe Austin Hill, who needs stage points like mad, right? He may stay out and win a stage. There's a lot of different scenarios in which an odd car can actually win a stage. Now, again, I understand. Zilisch is king. That's why
what number does Connor Zilisch drive, Rod?
And I understand, which is why the even of this is hammered to holy hell, right? The minus, I think it's like minus 140 for even to win either stage. And I'm just not willing to do that when you know that a guy like Justin Allgaier goes out and wins stages. That's what he does. That's why he's leading the series in stage wins this season. So I'm willing to say that a guy like Justin Allgaier will go out and win some stages where maybe Connor Zilisch will end up winning the race. I mean, for Zilisch, it's not as important to collect stage points because he's already sitting on a very, very sizable cushion.
Playoff points, though. Don't forget, you paid a playoff point, right? TK throwing Harrison Burton's name into the ring. I don't think you mentioned him. He'd be an odd car. My problem with this bet is Connor Zilisch drives the 88. That is not an odd-numbered car. So best of luck to you, Rod. But I think this is where I will get in my contractual disagreement in the Xfinity series. Speaking of Connor Zilisch in the 88 car, you took the bet I would like on him, so I'm going to take him as the top-finishing Chevy, plus 140. This is pretty simple. We've played this a lot lately. You go back and you look at his results. 5th place at Bristol. He led 98 laps in that race and had a very good run. Gateway led 121 and won. Portland led 70 and won. Daytona, well, he won technically, but whatever. His car won. He started the race, whatever. Watkins Glen, 60 laps, won. Indianapolis, 19 laps, won. Iowa, 4th place. Dover, won 77 laps. Sonoma, he won 46 laps. Chicago Street Course, 2nd place. Atlanta, 4th place. Coda, 1st place. Horrible finish at Bristol in the spring race back then, Rod, but Mexico City, he was 5th. Pocono, he was 1st. Nashville, he was 2nd. Charlotte, he was 2nd. Moral of the story, Connor Zilisch is really fucking good. Taking this at plus 140, and look, you're only getting him at plus 220 to win, so you're not really getting that much worse of a price at top Chevy. This opens up, what if Sam Mayer gambles and wins this race on fuel? What if Sheldon Creed gets it done? What if it is one of these JGR Toyotas, right? Without Almirola in the field, I'm less concerned like you got last week or last time out at Bristol. But yeah, I don't know how you don't bet this. Like, essentially, go beat Justin Allgaier. Outside of that, what other Chevys really concern you? Like, with Toyota and Ford, Creed could make a case, Mayer could make a case. Probably not going to be better than Zilisch, I get it, but you could definitely make cases where they get it done. The 3 JGR Toyotas, I think you could make cases where they maybe get it done. But really, outside of Allgaier, no other Chevys scare me. I'm just not. Kvapil doesn't scare me. Sammy Smith, you did miss the Sammy Smith talk. That was the beginning of the show, Bojo Joe. Go back and talk. It wasn't pleasant for Sammy Smith. So Connor Zilisch at plus 140 to be the top finishing Chevy. You can take this in addition to the win, obviously, because that's likely what's going to happen. He's been just fucking outstanding, lights out, amazing. How do you not just keep betting him at this point? And Troy says the 88 car is illegal as F. I don't think it needs to be illegal as F. I think it's already that good. They figured it out, and he is a next level talent. I mean, he's setting records and doing all this stuff. It's a crazy run. But, you think of Max Verstappen and the run he went on in F1 and the numbers we got, you're still getting him plus 140 to just beat the other Chevys, a.k.a. Justin Allgaier, whose pianos fall out of the sky half the time. He's never even won at this track. Like, I don't know how you don't take this. It's Connor Zilich's world right now we're living in. And, things can go wrong. It happened at Bristol, and he didn't get it despite being probably the best car on the day. But you just got to keep betting him.
I 1,000% agree with you on that one. And again, it didn't work out for us last week, but that was the first week in several that it didn't work out for you. So, you swung at a pitch that was right down the middle and you went a little over on it. Next one they serve up for you, you're going to smack it out of the park. So I do agree with you on this one, especially this one for sure, because this one, if you're still getting that one at plus money, then you can't really balk.
TK bringing up there was no winner at Daytona number 2 2025, brought to you by Caesars. We'll edit that with Caesars because that was the book that I think DraftKings didn't pay as well, but I know our guy Shandy got fucked over by Caesars. So
it's rough.
All
right,
stupid. But
well then, Cody, what car number does Connor Zilisch drive?
He is in the number 88 car, Rod.
Okay,
which
good.
Is pretty high up there in the number count.
Then you're going to agree with me on this one. Then winning car number over 20.5. I'm surprised. I honestly am surprised that this is minus 110 over on Caesars. I would think that they would have made this.
Are you though?
I am.
Who else is in this group? Like him and Taylor Gray?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter to me. The fact of the matter is that if Connor Zilisch is such a heavy favorite to win, then why are you giving us anything less than minus 150, minus 160 on a winning car number? Because that they like to kind of make these non-proportional. So even like a minus 125 or, you're giving us an extra 15 cents on the dollar for this to hit. So minus 110 over on Caesars for an over 20.5. And I get it, but this is the Connor Zilisch bet. This is the way to continue to get in on Connor Zilisch at a price that's not going to completely, because you could essentially bet all of these and profit, right? I mean, you could bet the winning car number over 20.5. You could bet the Zilisch top Chevy. You could bet Zilisch to win, which I'll talk about in a second. And Boji Joe, that's exactly right. Even car is minus 140. So that's the kind of thing where it's like, listen, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to put even at minus 140, well, Connor Zilisch is an even car and he's over 20.5. So you're getting a huge discount at even.
Get more options at even, but
the options don't matter at this point, Cody, because we're talking about Connor Zilisch and just
Sam
multiplying
Mayer.
your bet on this.
Yeah, but you just bet him outright then. But you get Sam Mayer, you get Austin Hill. Both are capable of winning. You get Taylor Gray, rather.
Taylor Green. Ooh.
If you get Taylor Green, Austin Green, Glenn Reen.
It's late.
It is late. I don't know. I think I'd rather just take him outright, honestly. But that's me. So, speaking of outrights, Rod, you took Connor Zilisch. Spoiler alert! You just said it, so I'm not afraid to say it. I agree with you. Bet on Connor Zilisch to win this race because it's his race to lose, and that's just where we're at right now. This isn't betting on Kyle Larson every week when he continually sucks and hasn't been dominant. Like Zilisch is fucking getting it done at a rate that we've not often seen, and really since Noah Gragson did it a few years ago. It's, that's kind of the last run of this proportion we've seen. It's his series. He's looking on the mile and a half. He's fast. He's just an amazing race car driver, whether it's cheated up or not. And yes, Troy pointing out you do get Matty D in that group, Rod, if that makes you feel better about the minus 110 number. But I think you do bet Zilisch at plus 220, and then you throw in some insurance plays. We always talk about it. I think Sam Mayer at 10-1 is pretty solid. I mean, Zilisch and Allgaier, they're priced way up here, and then everybody else is priced way down, right? And that's kind of that's the bonus you get. What if a piano falls on Allgaier and Zilisch speeds on pit road, or has a loose wheel or blows a motor. Like, things can go wrong, right? That opens everything up. Getting Sam Mayer is a great race car driver in a fast car, in the 98 car, essentially. That was very good at Las Vegas last year. Good with Riley Herbst in it. Sam Mayer is a great talent. We've seen it. 10-1, I think it's a good number. Taylor Gray, fast car. It's a good car, 17-1. And William Sawalich is 50-1 in a fast JGR car. He's looked good. He's looked the part. And to your point earlier of, the books are looking at what have you done and stuff. And yes, he's not put together full race or won yet, but we've seen the progression. A la Raja Karuth 80-1 at Las Vegas last year. We've seen the better results. We've seen the speed. We've seen all the pieces starting to come together. What if he puts that final piece in place this week? Other circumstances around him fall into place, a.k.a. a bomb drops on Connor Zilisch and takes him out of this race. William Sawalich could put himself in position at 50-1. It's a big number for that fast of a car with who is now a good driver. He's morphed into, I said at the beginning of the year, he was shit, but he's morphed into being a good driver now and figuring it out. And they've not adjusted. The books haven't. So Mayer 10-1, Gray 17-1, Sawalich 50-1.
Well, and so you've already said it, and you've already made the case for it, and I'm just going to say it again. It's a Connor Zilisch plus 220. That was in my box over on FanDuel. That's the best number that you can get on Connor Zilisch. And, Go Fast Troy saying how I bet low odds, a.k.a. Connor Zilisch. I grabbed ATD on Thursday night and parlay. So,
it didn't work out with Bell last week, but that's what we were talking about, right? How do you make the Bell number bigger in New Hampshire? How do you make the Zilisch number bigger at any point? You throw in the anytime touchdown or whatever bet you want to parlay it with. Baseball, football, women's Aussie rules football. I don't care. But yeah, parlay it with something else and make that number bigger.
Yeah, and so at this point, but if you wanted to, look, if you bet 100 and win $220, you're not sad, right? I mean, that's a good steak dinner. You go take your significant other out and have a good time with that extra $220 that you just pocketed. Like, there's no downside to winning a bet. Like, I hate it that we've gotten to this point in this world where,
Are you making an argument for the guy that bet the Bills money line this week when they're 16.5-point favorites, Rod? Did you see that bet?
I didn't, but
he put down like a massive amount of money and it's like $4,000 he wins. It's stupid.
Listen, it's, I'm not here to tell you
if you
how
don't lose, you're happy, right?
Yeah, right. Again, there's no downside to a winning bet, whether you win 15 cents or not.
Like
so.
Throw in that Oklahoma State money line parlay with Zilisch. That give you a good number.
But however you want to do it, just Connor Zilisch plus 220. Whether you want to bet that straight out, whether you want to parlay it with a Noah Short over 38.5, if you can find that out there in the betting world. However you want to do it, just do it. Connor Zilisch should win this race. We say it every week, and it didn't work out for us last week, but probably should have won that race if it weren't for Eric Almirola and a bunch of crazy late race shenanigans. But plus 220 is the best price you can find him. And then, of course, I did give out Brandon Jones earlier in the episode at 14-1 as my other outright as this as well. So, man, that is Kansas.
I like that one, too. And circling back, too, on Boji Joe saying I don't think Sawalich has 1.5s figured out. We have no idea because we haven't been to one since Charlotte, and that was pre him being good. So, if he doesn't have it figured out, fine. If he does have it figured out, where he's figured out everything else at 50-1, and again, you're probably going to need help. You're going to need something to happen to Zilisch. If Zilisch is just out there with no problems, I don't see any way he doesn't win this. I don't see any way he doesn't finish at least second place to Justin Allgaier, because I think that's the one guy who can just straight up probably outwheel him. But at this point in time, you're going to need the help from Zilisch, but it happens, right? We've seen it happen, and it's happened with Heim and Captain Shook himself and Allgaier plenty of times. So, we haven't seen it just yet, but at 50-1, I can make a case to see it. And outrights give me Sawalich over Thompson. I like the huge number on Thompson, but I'll be happy with the top 5.
We have seen a great wheelman in this guy right here. You got to jump on.
What a beautiful man.
What is a NASCAR gambling podcast after dark without a unzipped version of Noah Gregson? All right, get out your pen and paper. Time to go over our bets for this Kansas lot. Now that I got you all hot and steamy, Kansas Lottery 300. I started you off. This is the actual graphic for the correct race on this one.
Oh, it's the right graphic.
Woo-hoo!
Look at that. Point for Rod.
Point for me. Sam Mayer over Austin Hill, -115. Brandon Jones as a top 5 car at +140. Throw in the top 3 also at +250. Sheldon Creed, top 3 at 4-1. And then again, like I said, I had over Sammy Smith, -115 in the graphic beforehand. But I'm doubling down on what Cody said. I'm also taking the stage 1 winning car at odd at +110 and the stage 2 winning car number at odd at +110. So don't get all crazy and think that it's combined. I'm separating them, but I just put them all in there for, I guess space sake. Winning car number in general over 20.5 at -110. Connor Zilisch to win this race at +220, and Brandon Jones at 14-1 to win this race. Cody gave you Sheldon Creed over Sammy Smith at -115. He gave you Taylor Gray as a top 5 car at 2-1, which I back this time. William Sawalch as a top 5 car at +400. Brendan Butterbean Queen as a top 5 car at 12-1. Dean Thompson, Mustache, top 5, 65-1 or 50, wherever you can find it. Connor Zilisch, top Chevy, +140. Sam Mayer at 10-1 to win the race. Gave you Taylor Gray at 17-1 to win the race, and William Sawalch at 50-1 to win this race. Cody, I feel like when we do these late night episodes, I need to grab my Cavassier and I need to get in swirl little Cavassier for the late nights.
I love a good late night show, Rod. It's always fun.
Me too. All right, well then, considering it's late, let's put ourselves to bed before we do any further damage to our reputation. But looking forward to Kansas. Tomorrow, obviously, will be our DFS episode where we can let our hair down a little bit more. But yeah, this has been fun. I do love a good Xfinity episode standalone.
Always looking forward to Kansas, and yeah, should be good. Xfinity Series race this week, so gotta love it. All right, Rod, you can follow me over on the X at Husker_Zebe. You can find all my work over there, and there's a lot of it. Doing half of the game previews every week, NFL confidence pool picks, college football upset parlays. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff coming out. More every day. There's more stuff dropping. NBA stuff possibly coming out here soon as well. So, jealous. Troy's going to be at the track this weekend. Sad I'm not making it to this one, but yeah, best of luck to everybody. As Boji Joe says, good night, Laura. Good to see all you guys in the chat. We appreciate it. Best of luck, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow on DFS.
Yes, sir. Thank you for keeping Grandpa awake and very much engaged in this show. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villa Gomez. You can see all of my great record collections, what sandwich I'm eating on the day, and just quite possibly the ramblings of an old man shaking his fist at the sky. But we'll be back tomorrow with some DFS. Make sure you check out the Back Road tomorrow night. Me and Elliot breaking Kansas down for you there as well. All right, guys, good night. Or if you listen during the day, good day. Don't go to sleep on your car. I don't want any lawsuits, but yeah. We'll see you guys tomorrow or later today, whenever you're listening, for DFS. Love you guys so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.